Last year, I really just had one goal: go to Africa. This is my story of how filmmaking got me there for free, and a few lessons I learned along the way. If you've ever wondered how you can leverage video to see more of the world, this is the video for you. If this is your first time here, my name is Spencer Fackrell, and I'm a guide for beginner and intermediate filmmakers. And last year, I had the unique opportunity to travel the world filming for the humanitarian organization HXP. You see, it all started when I had the thought, I really want to go to Africa. I want to go on a safari and film elephants and lions and cheetahs, but I also wanted to do something with heart, something with purpose. So I got to work looking up local humanitarian organizations and sending them emails, offers. I wanted to see Africa so badly that I offered my video services for free. And this is the first lesson that, unfortunately, I didn't quite learn until I had made the mistake, but it's to know your worth while still offering value. When you're just starting out, offering your work for free can open doors to incredible opportunities. But here's the catch: don't let people take advantage of your generosity. When you work for free, it should be a strategic decision, not a habit. Think about what you're gaining in return: experience, connections, or a chance to build your portfolio. If you're not careful, offering your services for free can lead to burnout or resentment, especially if the organization keeps asking for more than you initially offered. The key is to be intentional, know your worth, set expectations, make sure it's in writing, and make sure it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. That way, you're not just giving away your skills, you're building a foundation for bigger opportunities. For me, I just really wanted to see Africa, and because I was dead set on reaching that goal as quickly as possible, perhaps I took some shortcuts that really didn't help me in the long run. And as a side note here, it's important to remember to temper being confident in your worth with the humility of always learning. I've found that you'll quickly find a dead end if you cover beginner experience with an inflated ego. But even with an offer of free content, a lot of these local companies weren't responding. Things were looking dim, but there was a glimmer of hope. There was this one organization that responded and said they were interested in using me, but after a couple months of following up, their trip was ultimately canceled and I wasn't going to Africa. I was devastated. It was my single goal to get there. But then one day I had a friend mention to me that I could still apply to be a counselor for one of these humanitarian groups. And I thought nothing else had worked, maybe this approach would. So I applied, and after several rounds of interviews, I was offered a position as one of the counselors at HXP. I had mentioned that I was a videographer, and after they looked at my work, they gave me two options: be a counselor or be the organization's videographer and photographer for the year. It was a tall order, but I couldn't cry about having a lot on my plate when my goal all along was to eat. I was in. But before I got to Africa, I first had to sit down with their marketing team and CEO to talk about their expectations. They told me they wanted the focus of my work to highlight the emotional impact of what they do, not just the stunning visuals of exotic locations. It wasn't about showcasing Africa's beauty, it was about telling a story that resonated with their audience and reflected the transformative nature of the projects on those who attend. This taught me a crucial lesson: always align your vision with your client's goals. That's not to say you can't collaborate with them and suggest alternative solutions, but as a filmmaker, it's easy to get caught up in crafting the most cinematic shots or showcasing your technical skills. But that's not always what the project needs. For me, this meant prioritizing shots of human connection and emotion over footage of wildlife or landscapes. That didn't mean I couldn't get footage of those events. That was a critical part of their trip, but I knew where my priorities were in the content I was out there to get. Having that clear vision became my guide at every stage of the journey. I was going to be traveling with just the CEO. The two of us would be popping in and out to different groups, long enough to really just say hi, film and photograph everything, then head out to the next country. In total, we would hit 5 countries in 3 weeks, but that would only be half of my summer. The other half was spent in Asia, and I'll be making a video on that experience soon. But my dream had come true. I was in Africa. But I quickly learned that documenting meaningful moments required more than just having my camera ready. It required active observation. This isn't about passively waiting for something interesting to happen. It's about being fully engaged in the people and environment around you. For me, that meant putting the camera down and making the effort to try connecting with the people I was filming. I learned names, joined conversations, and showed interest in their stories. Building that trust made all the difference. Suddenly, people were more relaxed on camera, and the moments I captured felt authentic and natural, rather than staged or awkward. In fact, I was able to make some really good friends and share some deep conversations that I would have otherwise have missed. Active observation also meant being proactive. I paid attention to small details. These were the moments that told the real story, and they didn't just fall into my lap. I had to seek them out. The lesson here is simple. When you take the time to observe with intention, your footage will feel authentic, and that kind of authenticity is what turns good work into unforgettable visual storytelling. A lot of my time was spent on work sites, filming these kids mix mortar and work with locals to build classrooms. What was neat was to see how tailored each project was to each location. Some remote places needed another classroom because class was held outside under a tree. Other places had a small health clinic built for locals. There was a lot to document, but thankfully, I was well equipped. And this is the third lesson, the value of gear. Gear that allowed me to get total coverage of the scene. You see, when I was preparing for this trip, I knew I needed gear that would help me capture a variety of shots without weighing me down. But here's the truth. While gear is important, it's not everything. You don't need the newest, most expensive equipment to tell a great story. What really matters is knowing your gear, inside and out, and planning ahead. For me, that meant bringing extra batteries, ND filters, a reliable hard drive, some lenses, a gimbal, and a drone, much of which I had bought secondhand to save some money. The key is striking a balance, bringing enough gear to capture your vision without overpacking or bringing things you don't actually need. Think about the story you want to tell and what tools will help you tell it. For me, that preparation meant I never found myself in the field wishing I had brought something I didn't. Your gear should support your creativity, not hold you back. So focus on mastering the tools you do have and making intentional choices about what's worth investing in as you grow. That might be lighting or hiring a local actor for a short film you've always wanted to make, or buying some audio equipment. Last year, I accomplished my goal of going to Africa, and I was able to leverage the power of video to get me there for free. I got to film a safari, but more importantly, I got to tell a story. I learned how to capture the elements that not only make it beautiful to the eye, but meaningful to the heart. And that's what filmmaking is all about.